Dire team ban.
Yeah, and into the game we go here. This draft for the second game. Right now, so far, as you see up there, University of Texas leading 1-0. What do you think Illinois can do to bring this game back?
Dire team ban.
They absolutely need to have a more straightforward strategy. That last game, I'm not exactly sure what their draft idea was, but I think it went something along the lines of, we'll run an aggressive tri-lane, apply so much pressure that our opponents cannot respond to the Shadow Fiend, which will allow our Shadow Fiend to get enough momentum that he opens up the mid game for the Morphling, who will be behind from the tri-lane. And then once the Morphling catches up, we have the late game through Rat Dota, right? We're able to split push down different lanes because our Morphling is able to get everywhere, and our Shadow Fiend has opened up the space for him to do so. So it's kind of like a hot potato strategy, right? The person who's the most important on the team at any given time keeps passing off. That's a very difficult strategy to execute, even without the addition of the aggressive tri-lane. But with the aggressive tri-lane, it's even more difficult. I would like to see them do a more traditional either defensive tri-lane or a defensive duo lane with a roamer, and do just something that has fewer moving parts, right? Your mid laner is going to come online around 10 minutes. Your safe laner is going to come online around 15, 16 minutes. Your supports are rotating around different lanes in order to create opportunity. As soon as your off laner gets his first item, he's applying the pressure in order to create the space. This is a traditional tried and true strategy for a very specific reason, and it's because it's the easiest way to execute overall.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, it does really make sense how complicated their last game strategy is. I didn't really thought about it like that, because usually you see people giving a lot of help to Shadow Fiend in the early game. At least a lot of times you see them start the lane like as a dual lane to make sure Shadow Fiend can get his souls up, or run a kind of cheesy clockwork strategy with him so they don't need to do that. But yeah, last game he got ganked. Like the first thing, he got first blooded, and then after that he will just constantly behind against Tiny and couldn't really farm at all.
Yeah, part of the issue there too was that, Illinois didn't tell Texas we're going to run an aggressive tri-lane, so Texas had no reason to start their supports in the safe lane, right? Which means that you opened up with an immediate first blood on the Shadow Fiend because Texas didn't even know they were going to be under threat on their carry. They had no reason to believe that their carry needed that support right away.
10 seconds remaining.
Just that level of metagame analysis that Illinois failed to do while ideating that strategy came back to bite them a lot. They need to, if they're going to try and get in their opponents' heads, they need their opponents to know what's happening, or there's just no doing it.
So this time around, we do see that Omni Knight ban here. Even though UT Austin did win that game 1, they still found the Omni Knight too annoying. He was actually in a game that was going bad, the one that was leading in net worth for Illinois. So it seems like a very smart ban. And over on the other side, we do have the Shadow Shaman being banned in Illinois. They were playing that actually themselves last game.
Yeah, they are just banning push. They don't want to be hit with such a fast game.
Right.
They get rid of the Lycan, get rid of the Nature's Prophet, get rid of the Shadow Shaman. I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of the Razor a little bit later on, especially with Clockwork in the game. Razor and Clockwork pair together very well. Probably they'll also get rid of the Juggernaut, if I had to guess, because they do not want to be shut down like that. They want an opportunity to actually play a game. Last game, her last match was hardly a game. It was really more of a slaughter.
Do you think perhaps Illinois does like to play that late game strategy? I mean, we did see them picking the Morphling, which is traditionally a very late game carry.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that they want to go late game or they want to go for something that is momentum based, right?
Right.
Those tend to be synonymous to some degree, but what I think that they're not good at is recovery. We saw with that Shadow Fiend not trusting his Omni Knight to keep him alive long enough in order to kill the Razor, right? They don't seem comfortable communicating with each other in such a way as to play from behind. They seem to really feel the pressure once they fall behind. So yeah, if they can keep an even game to the late game, I think that they'd be absolutely happy going late game. Based on what I've seen from them and what I remember of seeing from them in previous seasons, although I'm not entirely sure how many of these players are the same.
And there it is, also banning Shadow Fiend there, Illinois. Another very momentum-based hero, just speaking of.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, you know, already the Brewmaster is a hero that comes out level
5
6,
seconds
swinging a
remaining.
hammer hard. And Clockwork is a hero that level 1 Clockwork has such potential to really mess with your positioning. He's like an Earthshaker in that way. He's a very, very early active hero, can give your team a tremendous amount of
Dire
momentum
team pick.
if you execute him well.
Disruptor.
Disruptor is exactly the same way. So for Illinois, they need to make sure that they're
Radiant
drafting
team
something that
pick.
has recovery potential. I don't know that Wraith King is that pick.
Yeah, Wraith King. I mean, it looks like that ban on the Anti-Mage was specifically to keep that Wraith King's reincarnation alive, but Wraith King is kind of an awkward hero. I actually haven't seen him much since the
10
change they
seconds
made so he can make a skeleton army. What do you think of him in the current meta?
5
He does
seconds remaining.
push a little bit better, as you would expect with the skeleton army. He does do very, very, very well at most levels of play. At the top levels of play, he doesn't do that well. He does a little bit below the average hero and
Right.
a little bit farther below the average core. That said, you know, he's good into Disruptor because he can respawn even if he's silenced. It doesn't matter. Same for Clockwork. If Clockwork is able to lock him in place, well, Clockwork's got to kill him twice. That said, though, he is
Dire
not
team
great
pick.
as a recovery hero if he falls behind. And there is going to be that Razor because the ban was not there.
Yeah, they did
Wraith-
play that Razor quite well last game.
Yeah, and it also pushes, which is something that we keep saying. We don't think Illinois is really prepared to deal with that kind of momentum-based strategy. You know,
They do
how
have
does
good
10
lane clear
seconds
though this
remaining.
time. Jakiro and the Underlord.
Yeah, but none of that lane clear
5
comes from
seconds remaining.
really what I would consider a damage dealing core.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say they fall behind. At this junction in the game, Underlord's going to get farm, Jakiro's going to get levels, and Wraith King's going to get nothing. If they fall behind and they aren't able to control their own jungle, there's no way for Wraith King to flash farm. There's no way to even for him to go to lane to farm safely because it takes him so long to chew through waves of creeps that
Yeah.
he makes himself vulnerable to a hook shot or to a disruption. He's got, if it takes him, say, 15 seconds to stand and clear creep wave, that means that he can be killed if there's a disruptor or a Clockwork anywhere within about 1,500 units when he shows himself. And that's if he clears just one wave.
Yeah. Yeah, and Wraith King is, I mean, the building is, building his build can be a little awkward too. I mean, I've seen so many different builds for him. Like, people try to kind of compensate the fact they can farm by rushing a Radiance, which doesn't always work out. And if you can get it early, it's great, but, you know, it's hard. Maelstrom can help him farm, but it's not a great first item to get on a hero. I mean, usually we see kind of like an armlet into, you know, like a very tanky build on Wraith King, don't we?
Yeah, it does really split, I think, between the Radiance build and the like Armlet Blink Dagger build. I think in
Radiant
this
team
game,
ban.
probably you try to get the Radiance
Yeah.
and you fall back onto a tanky build if you have to. The problem with the tanky build is that it's relying on a Blade Mail. And
Yeah.
in this particular game, that Blade Mail is not very useful because they can wait it out. They can let you run away and then glimpse you back. They can wait it out and let you just, you know, beat up their
10
Clockwork and
seconds
cogs
remaining.
and nobody hits you while they steal damage from you. They can also wait it out through static
5
link.
seconds
You know, you've got Blade Mail up and they're just not hitting you, but they're stealing all your damage.
Right.
And also they have the Brewmaster Spirits that have a lot more health than that Wraith King's ever going to have, which
Right.
means that they have units that are going to be able to attack him through Blade Mail.
And they
it's
can
just
also
not that
cyclone
great
him
of
as
an
well
option.
with the Brewmaster
Yeah.
ulti.
That's a good point. Yeah, they absolutely can cyclone him. So they have so many ways to kite this guy. They have so many ways to buy time through a Blade Mail that it's just not going to be a very effective item, which means probably a Radiance is really the only way you're going to get value out of that Wraith King, especially if there is the potential for Illinois to be falling behind, which I
Right.
really do think there is.
And especially with the pickup of Puck on Illinois, it does mean they do need Wraith King to pull out the damage this game. So Radiance do make sense here. And also, kind of, as you said, kind of fills that gap of not being able to farm very fast. It will help him clear lanes a little bit quicker. Well, of course, getting there is the journey of any Radiance buyer. That's the
10
struggle.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, it is a struggle, and it looks like it will be a real struggle
5
this game.
seconds
Puck
remaining.
Puck does get potentially active much earlier in the game, right, than maybe potentially some other mids that they might have picked. It'll certainly have more
Dire
potential to
team
play
pick.
from behind than a Shadow Fiend would have. But that said, you know, the silence is good into the Brewmaster, and the escape is good into the Clockwork. The Disruptor is actually really good against Puck, though.
Right.
And Razor can continue to steal your damage through your phase shift.
10
So
seconds remaining.
Razor's able to just hit you with that and steal a bunch of damage and
5
knock down a
seconds
tower.
remaining.
I don't know. I just don't know where the synergy here on this team comes from. Are they looking for level, I think it's level 15, the Wraith King stuns everybody when he goes down, and then they throw down a Dream Coil, and then they throw down Underlord's Pit of Malice, and then they throw down an Ice Path, and they just need to execute that perfectly in some chain order?
Radiant.
That's
Yeah,
the
I
only way I
guess-
see them winning fights.
Oh yeah, they definitely have a lot of AoE kind of synergy here, as you're talking about. But Puck and Faceless Void kind of cancel each other's ultis out, so they gotta make sure they do not kind of layer that on top of each other. Although a Chronosphere and then later into a Dream Coil, or Dream Coil to keep them together long enough for Faceless Void to set up a nice ulti, could be what they're looking for. But yeah, I mean, outside of Puck setting up a Dream Coil and just laying down a big AoE damaging field with Jakira and Underlord, it's kind of hard to see the game plan here coming out from Illinois.
Yeah, so with the Faceless Void, I think what the plan is for around level 7 or level 8, they are going to start moving the Faceless Void in for fights with the Underlord and the Jakiro. Lay down Chronosphere, lay down the damage over time coming from Underlord, and also lay down the Macropyre and Dual Breath from the Jakiro from the outside, and then allow Wraith King to catch up as a semi-core, because he's going to be a support Wraith King. He's just here for the stun and for the survivability, it looks like. Usually, if you do that sort of build on the Wraith King, you want to rotate him into a semi-core starting around that 20-minute mark, and maybe even get him a Hand of Midas if you can get him to afford it,
Right.
so that he can go into the late game, and now you've bought yourself an extra sort of carry. The real problem that you're going to see with this is, I don't think that Wraith King was drafted to be a support. I think he became a support once they saw what the rest of the draft looked like, and they figured that they needed more AoE potential. And he just, all he's going to be able to provide is a little bit of push with the skeletons and that stun, and that's it.
Battle.
Yeah. Wraith King support does seem quite weird. I mean, he just doesn't have a lot of good support ability. As you said, you know, the Mortal Strike, it's not a support ability whatsoever, and Vampiric Aura is pretty lackluster, the support ability. He does just have that one button. I mean, it just seems like, I don't know, a worse Vengeful Spirit who has, I think, a better support aura, has 2 skills that are very good, and then Ultimate, which is really useful as support as well, saving your teammates.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out for him. I don't want to count him out. But the other thing about that Wraith King is that he is essentially just a big, fat Static Link target. You throw Static Link on him and you just don't kill him, because if he's a support, he's not going to be dealing damage. And he has to get in pretty close for that Wraith Fire Blast, which means he's going to walk into the fight to do the one thing that he does. He's going to get Static Linked, then everybody's going to ignore him because he does no damage. And nobody cares that he's there, and he's already spent his one spell. He's going to get all of his damage fed into the Razor, who's then going to utilize it against his teammates, and then they'll just kill him twice when he's alone.
Yeah, you're completely correct.
Real threat.
I didn't even think about that. The fact that he will just get drained of all of his damage, because he, as you said, you're absolutely right. Like, he does nothing after he wastes that Q, and also the fact that he has such a low mana pool means that he actually can't stun to his heart's content unless he wants to turn off his own ultimate.
Yeah, it is a really rough pick to play, and I mean, Mr. Feed tried to be a very active player on the Shadow Shaman and ended up getting himself into more trouble than he ended up finding opportunity. We'll see if Wraith King support is something he's more comfortable
So he is coming into mid here. The stun is coming out. He did use a Smoke of Deceit for this. Let's see if they can kill this. Jakiro wasn't there in time. Can they get the last hit? Oh, he does. He has the Fairy Fire. Mr. Fee's going to sacrifice himself for this. No! Oh, it's okay. The damage over time is going to be able to take this. But the first blood still goes to Nona 2018. Now, fight going down. Heroic Chopstick and Maximo coming here. It's a battle of the supports here. Eye Master is going to be fine, just taking some damage. Dead has taken 60% life. What do you think about it? Did you think Mr. Feet could take in that first blood without dying first?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you probably heard me to kind of throw in as a passive comment, like, I don't think they have enough. The extra armor that comes out of that tower is
right.
It just stops Wraith King, level 1 Wraith King from doing anything. He only hits for 62 damage. He barely hits at all for a melee hero, right?
Well, they're going to Maximo here. Can they finish this gank?
No.
Oh no, the second stun is there, so this is going to be a kill here. And Mr. Feet did not want to take that, but I think the damage over time from the Rayfire Blast took that yet again.
Unless they rotate on No Nut, though, he just won his lane, right? Not only did he get a first blood, but now he's had 2 or 3 uncontested waves of creeps, while the puck is... I don't even know what the puck is doing right now. He's stacking his
top lane. There's going to be a gank attempt onto Lucas. He is slowed up quite heavily right now. Mr. Feet did use a mango to get the last Rayfire Blast, but dodges are going to be there, and Lucas is going to be a-okay. Heroic Chopstick now the target of their aggression, and he's going to be able to walk out as well. Lucas gets burned again, but I think he's okay.
Just trying to soak experience, I suppose. He's not in any real danger here because there's no damage that can come out without a stun. Wraithfire Blast is basically the entire team's damage potential right now, and you're seeing that in all of these lanes. Yeah, they did manage to grab 2 kills, but one of those kills was feeding mid lane first blood in an exchange, and the other one was on a support. It wasn't really that big of a deal, but you know, the Razor's absolutely just decimating his lane. He's got 9 last hits, 8 denies compared to the Underlord's 3.
Oh, jeez.
And he's 2 levels above Underlord.
And they've been just kind of 1v1ing this lane at the same time. Nobody hasn't had any support.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He hasn't needed any support. And in the meantime, because he hasn't needed any support, there are stacks going up from Maximo in the jungle.
Nobody just gets 80 damage to him. Always from Sweet Baba, who basically has no damage now. Can't last hit. Firestorm also on cooldown. Yeah, this kind of pitiful watching this Underlord trying to lane against the Razor.
Yeah, Mr. Feet is going to smoke up and presumably rotate into the mid lane here. They really do need to get a kill on this sniper, but without 3, I don't think they can do it safely. And
it is only a level 1 at the same time. Here comes the Wraithfire Blast. You guys get the stun up. Here's the Illusory Orb. Try to get behind them. But the Shrapnels are there. They're going to do a lot of damage if they want to chase on their tower. Mr. Feet actually still going in. He is reckless, and he is going to fulfill his name yet again. Now I matter. He's going to be in a bit of a rough spot here, walking through the Shrapnel again. Really Chops is going to be able to make... No, he actually won't be able to cancel that salve away from I matter.
Yeah, so once again, where we're ending up here is that mid just got another kill in their favor for Texas, and I matter just had to use the last of his regen to try and salvage that attempt so that he can stay in lane. And he'll presumably be forced out of lane here pretty soon, which is going to give No Nut an additional couple of waves of freebie. And Mr. Feet is only level 2. He's still doing basically nothing. Another
smoke attempt here. This might be the last smoke. I think I've seen felt 3 there. Here comes the Wraithfire Blast. Can they kill him? There's 2 supports coming in. No, not actually. Only 1 shrapnel charge remaining. He's going to be able to fire this off. And yeah, the 2 supports are going to keep the snipers safe. Is there a glimpse? No glimpse leveled yet for Maximo. Only level 2 right now. And Master is just going to take some harass, and he's going to be fine.
Yeah, so bottom lane is very heavily going to the favor of Texas. Middle lane is very heavily going into the favor of Texas. And top lane, the Void is on top of last hits in this game, which is definitely good. He should be winning against the Brewmaster if he has support. But the problem is he's forcing this Jakiro to sit and babysit. Jakiro's not getting stacks done. Jakiro's not rotating in to help the mid, which means that this mid is an unsalvageable lane unless somebody is able to rotate. Honestly, at this point, it might even be worth just rotating the Underlord, because all the Underlord's able to do right now is jungle. He's level 4. He has some damage potential to add. Get him out of this jungle, get him out of this lane, and move on to the sniper with more than 1 hero. Of course, unfortunately now, I don't think they have any smokes left. No, I lied. They have 1 left in inventory, so they can make 1 last charge at the sniper and maybe do it right.
So in the river, they're going to find death here. He's going to get very assaulted up. Then now trying to make it down the river. Finds his mid, and Master is going to try to help him out. Maximo taking a lot of damage. Sniper is shooting away in the back lines. That is going to keep forcing the erotic chopstick. Finally, Master goes down, and Mr. Feet is there going to be with the Wraith Fire Blast, and he's going to be able to take them down. And assassinate the it's not going to be enough, but then walks into his own death. Could have walked out, I think. Mr. Feet is going to eat the mango, try to go on against No Nut, but still has no damage on that hero, and No Nut's just going to walk out.
The Wraith Fire Blast is a good amount of damage. Nothing else that he has is Sniper was never in any danger there. He has a 13 charge magic wand that he didn't even feel compelled to use. That's how little danger he felt.
To waste the mango.
Yeah, and he's actually like he's not even going back to base here. It looked like he was going back to base just so that he could get his courier faster and he could block the creeps. That's all.
A little bit of a dive attempt on the bottom by Nobody, but he's going to walk out. That's forced a Jakiro rotation. And Suibaba minus 112 damage here. Oh my god, those right clicks really, really hurt.
Man, that Jakiro rotated, and already Brewmaster is caught up in this lane. Because you cannot have a melee hero against a Brewmaster one-on-one. It just will not work. There's very few heroes that are going to be able to do that. Because Drunken Haze is such a powerful spell. And Thunderclap does so much damage for so little cost in this lane, right? So Drunken Haze just makes it so the Faceless Void cannot last hit. Okay, but down bottom, the Pit Lord is going to be able to walk himself away just barely.
Yeah. So about 100 health left when he got out of there. Now looks like they're looking for a gank over into Nobody. Pit of Malice is going to get cancelled up. They do have a slow. Mr. Feet is going to be here with the stun. Pit of Malice does come out. It's kind of layered on top of the Ray Fire Blast, but they won't need that CC. The supports don't have the rotation available to try and save that Nobody pushed a little bit too far ahead into that safe lane.
Yeah, I think he was feeling a little bit too overconfident, but you know, that's the gank that I've been talking about. They need to move 3 heroes somewhere and try to kill somebody.
Still onto Erotic Chopstick, but his cogs are going to keep himself safe and burn some mana over onto the side of the supports as well. And look what he finds. He finds a regen room to get his mana back. He's going to get cancelled a little bit, but he's going to be happy taking that away from Suibaba.
Yeah, that actually really hurts. That mana loss from a cog, 80 mana loss for a Wraith King is like a third of his mana almost.
Yeah, he only has 300.
Yeah. So that is, he has to pop his last clarity, which means he has to buy more clarity so that he can keep rotating. He's still only level 3, and there's never going to be a lane for him to catch up in. I'm really, really wondering when they're going to be able to move that Wraith King into a
second top lane. Erotic Chopsticks find Dead in the cogs, and Dead is just going to duel him until he dies. It deals about 100 life damage to him, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, this is a level 3 Clockwork, and he's able to get solo kills like that. You're in a really bad position. So they do have Chronosphere available. They don't, unfortunately, have Macro Fire, but this Void and this Pit Lord need to get next to each other so that they can drop as much damage. And Pit Lord's almost dead. Excuse me, Underlord is almost dead to neutrals, right? But you need to drop a Firestorm on top of a Chronosphere and then Pit of Malice out of it. That's the only way you're going to be able to maximize this Chronosphere, because you've got no other damage that can come in from outside right now. And you know, Faceless Void is notoriously bad damage for this stage in the game. Yeah. Especially if you've gone for a max Time Walk build.
He's also going for a Battle Fury build as well, so no Mask of Madness to increase his damage in the early game either, so he's going for a farming build.
Yeah, that makes sense to me based on what this team is trying to organize. I don't think it's a good idea though, right? The Battle Fury, they're just going to try to buy enough time to farm the Faceless Void, open up time for the Wraith King to then catch up on levels and become a semi-core. You know, that's kind of what we talked about during the draft.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're not going to be given the time by Texas to make this work. So the only way that this is going to work is if they take the time, and they're going to have to snatch it on the backs of Dream Coil Firestorm kills, basically. That combo is going to be the only way that they're going to make this happen.
So what does Wraith King do? Support Wraith King do in the late game when he's this behind? Right traffic is found. He has invis room, but they have a sentry right on top of him. Can they find this kill? He is quite tanky. One more last hit will do it. Actually, will he burn down to this liquid fire? He might. He actually is going to survive. Meanwhile, there is a first Chrono Spear committed, but there's no damage coming out. Just the Ray King just dies to a shrapnel. Eye Master is going to jump in and actually just give himself another kill, third kill, and dead. What are you doing here, buddy? You're also going to feel a kill as well. Assassinate is on 12 second cooldown. Is there a glimpse? Actually, no. No mana for a glimpse. That is going to be fine. No nut. At about 100 life here. 2 heroes getting away with no life. Tragic.
Yeah, it is what it is. When you're this far behind, you don't really have the opportunity to play the margins like that. So, you know, a very late game Wraith King support probably becomes a core.
Yeah.
Right? You know, but if he does stay as a pure sort of support role, you're probably looking at Guardian Greaves and a Ghanim's or something like that. You know, the Ghanim's would allow his teammates to stay around for 7 seconds after they die, continue to cast spells, continue to get right-click damage, which would allow them to move into these fights. For example, Faceless Void could move into these fights without feeling like he needs to initiate with Chronosphere. They could initiate with Dream Coil and save the Chronosphere for the right moment when people start to panic. That would be useful. And he would still be able to get it off even if he died. You know, a level 25 Wraith King is also going to hit everybody around him with a Wraith Fire Blast when he dies on Reincarnation, which is that's basically another giant.
Maximo is going found by a master. Mr. Feet is going to yoink that away from his mid laner there with the Wraith Fire Blast.
Honestly, he needs it more than this puck does, and this puck needs it really badly. So,
desperate situation here for Illinois.
Yeah. Once the puck is able to finish off this Veil of Discord, which I think he has he has it. He's just waiting for the courier. Once he gets that, he's going to be able to flash farm lanes relatively safely. So I'm not too worried about the puck's net worth. He should be able to catch up.
Oh, find the deny there. Great last hit by Dead. Will he pay for it though? He's getting hit by illusions as well. No, not finding an illusion rune. Looks like they're going to be okay. Oh, here comes the glimpse. Master is trying to blink out of it. Here is an illusory orb. Mr. Fee coming from the backline. Sweebaba with a great Pillow Malice. Can they get a second activation? No, they won't. No, not. Still running away. Second Ray Fire Blast is going to be there. But great hook shot in from Heroic Chopstick is going to stun too. And the sniper is going to be safe. Master finding support in the backlines. Meanwhile, Mr. Feet and Suibaba and Dead going down to the cores of Texas.
You know, right when that fight started out, I was saying like, oh, the puck should be able to find some opportunity to get farm back up because he's going to be able to flash farm with his magic damage. I was just about to say, assuming that he's given any time to do so by Texas, and it doesn't look like Texas is interested in that. They're doing exactly what we said they should do during